It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Well, you can see in that sharp interactive board, I got Michael Poulin. He's a new guest to the end of the day with Ray. And Michael heads up the production print division over at Kyocera. And folks, you know, for a long time, I've been pretty critical of this production print space. Most of that criticism is based on, well, an immaturity of a business level to sell it into the marketplace, number one. And people just kind of bastardized that system over the years. And obviously, there had to be some changes. But I'm also a big proponent of delivering the future to the present. And when I looked at this Kyocera inkjet production device, I got a little excited, folks, because we all know, I mean, whether you want to admit it or not, but ink is the future. I believe it's not only a future for production, it's already delivering the future in the industrial space, and I also believe it'll be in the business space. So without any further ado, let's talk with Michael Poulin from Kyocera. Michael, how are you doing, man? And welcome to the end of the day with Ray.
I'm good, Ray. Thanks for having me.
You know, Michael, you've been in the business for 30 years. You've been with Kyocera for about a year now. So tell us a little bit about who you are in the industry and what you're doing over there at Kyocera. What's your goals?
Well, sure. Like you said, I've been around for a little while. Been in the production side my whole life, and I think the first time I saw one of your videos, I was like, what is this guy talking about? Production's great. So, yeah, thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. And yeah, you know, when I saw Kyocera and what they were doing, you know, they launched the Task Alpha Pro 15000C in April of 2020, which, very interesting time to launch a machine, but it worked out quite well, actually. We were able to kind of launch it slowly, get some machines out in the field, really learn what it could do. So when I came on, like you said, almost a year ago, they had started making some progress, really started making some waves, catching some attention. So they brought me in to really take it to that next level. They've made a huge investment. So bringing me on was the first piece. We've invested in bringing in additional production support folks to support all of our sales teams. We've got a business development side now out in the field, really driving business, and we've really increased on the product marketing side. So with interviews like this and a lot of things we're doing, there's a lot of activity around this product right now. So we're really happy about that. And again, thanks for giving us the opportunity to talk about it.
Well, you know, and I've been looking at ink for a long time now, and, you know, I think in the transactional space, and we, you know, some of these huge print shops, if you will, or these huge mail houses, if you will, were using, you know, roll-fed ink for a while. And, you know, when you start getting into the digital space and digital applications and production print with ink, you know, there is an application there. And it's also a lot less service intensive. So I want to, you know, get some opinions on that, if you will. But, you know, let's talk about your distribution right now. So Kyocera has, you know, dealers obviously here in the United States, across, you know, in your other markets as well. But how are you delivering this to the marketplace? You know, who are you utilizing to do that? More direct than dealers, or can you share some insight on that?
We've got a pretty good mix. So from the dealer side, we've got a strong dealer network. You know, Kyocera, with their office products, is a huge dealer network, very, very integrated into a major part of their business. From the production side, it's a smaller piece. You know, we want to make sure that the dealers who are reselling this particular product have the capability of servicing it and supporting it. You know, it's a different world. It's a different marketplace, different customers, different applications. So we've been kind of selective on who we choose, but that network is growing. We've had 2 more dealers on board in the last few months, so we're going to continue that. We're going to continue focusing on them to build up that network. And we do have a strong direct sales channel. We've got a bunch of subsidiaries across the U.S. really focusing on that. We've got a lot of things going on with them, both with training to bring up all of their folks to make sure they really understand that production print marketplace. And then we actually have, we've got a few of those subsidiaries looking for people right now. So to anyone out there that has a sales, production print sales background, we're looking for some people. And I actually have an open rec for another production support person for the East Coast. So
Sweet.
someone who's a little bit more technical on the support side. We need some help there too. So we're definitely growing. Had really good numbers last year.
Mm-hmm.
From 2021 to 22, we grew from a 1% market share to 8%. So significant growth in the market share for this segment of the market. We expect that to grow more next year. We've got over 200 machines worldwide. Over 130 of them are here in the U.S. So
Great.
again, this is it's a great product that's growing really fast, and we're really making the investment to keep this moving.
And are you also delivering that through another OEM? The machine?
We are, yes. Thank you for saying that. There are actually three big OEMs. So MCS was the first. They were the first ones to sign on, and they've been great to work with. They've done a really remarkable job of bringing this on. And then last year we brought on Bluecrest, who's originally the sales or the transactional sales side of Pitney Bowes. They're very familiar with the roll-fed inkjet, and they took this product on. And then more recently, Ricoh took the product on as well. So they've got a lot of inkjet experience. They're big in the office space too, and in light production. And they took this engine on too, and they've been great to work with. So those are the big three, and then we got a couple of really big dealers in the channel as well.
Well, it seems like Kyocera's positioned really good in that production space, and this is kind of a, there's some other OEMs that have inkjet technologies, but they're about 3 times the cost. A couple of them I looked at, and they'll say that they're faster is one of the things, and they might say that they'll do some different types of coated paper, if you will. But it seems to me that the Kyocera fits in it. If you put it in the right place, it could be a great advantage for someone not to have to spend that 3 times as much money. I mean, am I reading that right? Is that real? Is it really going after that higher end inkjet that doesn't need all those capabilities, or is it positioned to go after laser production print?
It's kind of positioned in the middle. So it's a relatively small engine, so very small footprint. The power requirements are really low. You could put one in your office, and it only takes plugs into a standard 120 volt wall outlet. So very easy to put into small businesses. We've got small commercial printers that are using it, but it's also pretty fast. It's 150 pages. So at the price point, when it's going up against some of the bigger inkjet devices that are at 300 pages, you could easily put 2 of these units in at less than half the cost, less than half the power, and get all of the output that you need. As far as the quality, right now this product does not do offset coated gloss, but it does do some coated papers. We've expanded our media range on this product. We have over 113 papers, including inkjet, matte coat, inkjet, silk coats, very high-end, very high-quality products. We've got a whole new range of application samples that I would urge your dealers or your end users to go and take a look at. Talk to one of our dealers or one of our direct sales channels and take a look at these new samples. The quality is amazing. One of the key features about the Kyocera product is we're using the Kyocera print heads, of course. And the print heads are the same print heads that are in many of the bigger OEMs, high-end, either roll-fed or sheet-fed inkjet machines. So it's the exact same print head. These print heads are used in fabric and textile printing. They're used in wide format printing. They're used in a bunch of different industries, and they're very robust, very high quality, and we're of course are using them in this product. So I would put my quality up against anyone. I know I can come in at much lower costs. I know it's a much easier installation. I don't have to do build outs with venting and bringing in water and compressed air and all of those things that kind of come with those big engines. And with the big engines, you've got to feed them. If you're not running 5, 6 million impressions a month, then the ROI on those engines becomes difficult. So we know with this engine, we can run down at 200,000 pages a month, or we can go up to 3 million and really play in that range. That way we can take work from the higher end or higher volume inkjet products, but also really go up against the toner engines. Excuse me, sorry. Okay. Go up against the toner engines as well.
Well, it'll be interesting as you get more of these out in the marketplace to look at some of the data, because I'm convinced that, right now, and I'll quote NextEra's data, and when I spent some time with Wes McCarter and his team, but when we looked at the laser production, the first call effectiveness wasn't really that good, as good as people wanted, but I'm just thinking myself, just from a PM perspective, or to go in there and change drums in a laser machine with 4 drums and the developer and all the nonsense that goes with that, and the diapers on the floor and the big mess and big production out of it, where with ink so much of that goes away and so many of those parts go away. So do you see any real life situations where, wow, just from the serviceability aspect was kind of a wow to the end user going from laser to ink?
Yeah, it's a huge difference. The only consumable in an inkjet product is the ink itself. Everything else is basically it's in the engine. So like you said, all of those consumables that are normally tied to a toner engine, all of that goes away. You've got the print heads themselves and the ink and the heads. These heads, again, back to the quality and reliability of these things, they last basically the lifetime of the engine. So really, ink is your only consumable. So all of that goes away. So it makes the ROI very strong. Without getting into numbers, if somebody asks me a real high-level number, I say ink typically comes in between 40 and 70% less than toner. And it's a broad range based on the papers and what the overall coverage is. But a lot of toner systems, they tend to do all-in clicks to make it really worthy. But between 40 and 70%, you can come in, you can produce ink a lot less expensive. And then from the service side, your call rate comes way down. The requirements for preventive maintenance is way down. There's a lot of advantages to going to ink. It's a very simple, straightforward product. And
you have some technologies around the heads themselves and how they're cleaned. Am I right about that?
Yeah, it's a patented award-winning technology for the cleaning system. It makes it very user-friendly, so there's very little user intervention, but it's an enclosed system that actually cleans and wipes the head. So it's ink, and anyone who has a small little desktop printer knows that if you leave it alone too long, the ink will dry out. So we have preventive measures in there. We actually have an active cleaning system with a wiping system on the head that keeps them clean. It'll do that in between jobs to make sure every time you start a new job, it's ready and 100% fresh, ready to go. We have active nozzle recovery. So one of the bigger concerns with inkjet over the years is if you get one of those inkjet nozzles that gets clogged up, and it can happen, dust floating in the air, paper dust. If one of those nozzles clogs up, you get a streak down where you just have white streak because there's no ink, and it really shows. So we have active recovery of those nozzles, and what we'll do is the machine will detect that and automatically adjust for it. So there's a lot of things that having these heads in OEM systems for the past 15 years has really, we're really using that knowledge to our advantage and have created a really robust system.
Well, I know you guys are having a big meeting in San Antonio in June. Are you going to have this machine at that meeting?
It will be there, yes, okay. It will. We'll be showing it off, and we've had it there for a couple of years. Like I said, we launched in April of 2020, so we have been showing it. We've shown it before, I should say. But this time we're really going to focus on new applications. So I mentioned earlier we have 113 different papers. So some of those papers are really focused on the direct mail applications. We've got some 9-point postcards that we're going to be showing. other applications for implants, for brochures. You know, when we launched this product, we were really kind of focused on that transactional industry. It just kind of made sense, but now we're really broadening the application range. So anyone that's going to be at the show, they'll see a much greater range and a much greater quality range from this product when we show it.
Well, it's exciting stuff, and you know, at the end of the day, we all know that we're going to ink. You're probably not going to tell me, but I'll ask you. Do you see, you know, Kyocera taking ink technology down to the business devices themselves, and how far away are we from that?
Well, yeah, I can't really talk too much about that. It would make sense to go in both a direction for a larger machine and maybe even a smaller machine. And I would say that Kyocera is definitely looking at those options right now, but that's all I can say.
There you go. I tried to get him to give us a secret. Well, Michael, it was great. It was great having you on. I want to look at this machine and study a little bit closer. You know, I obviously, you know, you got 200 out in the marketplace. People can sell production equipment into the marketplace. You know, my beef has always been, let's make sure that the right people at the right applications, and let's not, you know, bastardize a marketplace. I mean, we're all trying to make, we got to make some, you know, our profits. And by the way, you know, Kyocera does a really good job in that venue, so I don't see them going out there and giving stuff away to get market share versus selling stuff at the right applications and delivering quality products to the end users. Is there anything you want to add before we end this?
No, I think that you nailed it, right? We want to make sure we're putting the machines in the right places and doing the right things, and that's definitely our approach. So just want to say thank you for bringing me on.
Well, I look forward to seeing you in June at that meeting. I'm going to go down there, check on y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, give you a demo and.
Maybe I could do a PM on it because it'd be so easy. I wouldn't have to change all the drums.
Well, I'll show you how easy it is.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.